Question number 5.
Mr. Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Does his government support the reintroduction of any commercial whaling?
The Honourable Murray McCulley.
No.
The Honourable Chris Carter.
Mr. Speaker, supplementary. When the Prime Minister said on the 13th of January that he had an initiative to end Japanese whaling, was the proposal to legalise commercial whaling the solution he was talking about? And if not, what was the Prime Minister's mysterious initiative?
The Honourable Murray McCulley.
Speaker, the Prime Minister would have been referring to the New Zealand Government's policy in relation to whaling. That policy and the brief that I've given to our representatives at the IWC, headed by former Prime Minister Sir Geoffrey Palmer, is to seek the elimination of whaling in the Southern Ocean as quickly as possible. Our participation in the diplomatic process is an attempt to find a significant step in that direction. Can I remind the member that the diplomatic process commenced in mid-2007 when that member was the Minister responsible. At the time, he claimed this process was a good means to achieve the elimination of whaling. In 2008, Sir, his successor as Conservation Minister, Steve Chadwick, described this process as, quote, a great step forward for the IWC, unquote.
Speaker.
Point of order. Chris Carter.
Mr. Speaker, I asked whether the current proposal was the Prime Minister's initiative that was announced, but no details were given, on the 13th of January. Is this it?
Order. A point of order has being heard. As I heard the Minister's answer, though, he described what the government's initiative is, and that seems to me to be a reasonable answer to the question. Now, the member does have further supplementaries, I think, if he to pursue the matter further.
Mr.
The Honourable
Speaker,
Chris Carter.
Question to the Minister. Did the Prime Minister actually announce a new initiative on the 13th of January as quoted in the media, or is it simply a continuation of existing policies?
The Honourable Murray McCulley.
Speaker, I do not have the reference in front of me at the moment, but my recollection is very clearly that the Prime Minister was referring to the New Zealand Government's policy, which is to actively participate in the diplomatic process of the IWC to seek an elimination of whaling in the Southern Oceans. That is a policy which was pursued, sir, by the previous government also, when that member was the Minister, and it is spearheaded by Sir Geoffrey Palmer, the former Prime Minister, under the Labour government.
The Honourable Chris Carter.
Supplementary, Mr. Speaker. Was the proposal then that the Prime Minister raised on the 13th of January as a bold new initiative, and which he was going to share with Hillary Clinton as the US Secretary of State, who was due to arrive the following day, was this the same policy that the previous government was pursuing, or is it a return to limited commercial whaling?
Honourable Murray McCulley.
Speaker, as that member would know better than most, the IWC process involves a support group, so-called, of the small working group, having informal discussions to try and find the best way forward. That involves discussions with a range of our partners, including the United States, who have got a very similar approach to these matters that New Zealand has. The policy that the Prime Minister and this government are pursuing is one of using that diplomatic process to try and achieve an elimination of whaling in the Southern Ocean at the earliest possible time.
The Honourable Chris Carter.
Does the Minister agree with John Key, who was quoted in the Kaikoura Star yesterday, and I quote, "Commercial whaling might be acceptable if it is acceptable to others"? And can the Minister confirm that both Britain and Australia have expressed opposition to this proposal to offer a limited return to commercial whaling, but Japan has welcomed it?
The Honourable Murray McCulley.
Mr. Speaker, I can confirm that Sir Geoffrey Palmer is one of those exploring a range of solutions in the IWC process at the present time. The Government of New Zealand has not given Sir Geoffrey any mandate to accept anything other than the previous policies adopted by the government of which that member was a minister.
Point of order, the Honourable Chris Carter.
Mr. Speaker, I seek leave to table a list of the names of 3,188 people who in the last 6 days have expressed their opposition to the restart of commercial whaling by New Zealand.
I take it it's a list the members compiled themselves. Just so members know the source of the document.
It's an online petition, Mr. Speaker, that's been signed by 3,188 people in just 6 days.
Leavers sought to table that document. Is there any objection? There is objection. Point of order, the Honourable Jerry Brunley.
Pointing out, that, Mr. Speaker, that there is a proper process for presenting petitions to Parliament, and the member would be well advised to follow it.
Speaking
Do that on Tuesday.
Well, I guess the member made his point. Question number 6, Jonathan Young.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My